Yo, another day, another thought. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Welcome. What's up, KR?
Welcome, welcome. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, man. Interesting week.
Very
A lot
interesting
of
week, man.
yeah, very interesting week. A lot of things happening, things developing, things for the good. So definitely optimistic about the future. What about yourself?
Crazy things, man. Like you said, also for the bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw some crazy videos from Hurricane Ian in
yeah,
Florida
yeah.
doing some
Definitely,
damage. Wishing everyone well down
yeah,
there.
definitely.
As
Our
I told
thoughts
my
go on.
friends, that's true, man. As I told my friends, when it's all said and done, you have to look at it from the bright side, man. When you're in this situation, if you're lucky, you're swimming with the gators, and if you're unlucky,
Yeah,
you'll
it's
end up in Cuba.
yeah. Well, didn't think you were gonna take it there, but yeah, it's tough, man. I went to I went to St. Martin. We went with a couple of friends last. I think it was 3 weeks ago. We went by boat,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because they experienced so in the Caribbean they experienced the hurricane. When we went there, It was 3 years. So we were there 3 years after the heavy hurricane hit, and you could still see, the damage and destruction done. You can see boats underneath the water. So it goes to show you, man. Sometimes we live we live in our houses or brick houses, and we think, we forget, we might feel safe, but we forget that nature is a very powerful thing.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, man. Okay, guys, welcome to another edition of the Double Touch Show. We are your hosts, KR and RJ. As you know, we're here to discuss some premium news topics touching on different angles like business law, and today a little bit of relationships, maybe as well, finance,
Yes.
but always from uh, as objective point of view as possible. Sometimes the objective expression of our thoughts and opinions might might be a bit too raw, but we try to keep it as direct as possible. And as you know, here is a place where we respect other opinions as well. So definitely, if you are someone who likes a good discussion, you like to touch on a different subject, and you respect other people's opinion, this is the perfect place to be. Our
Yes.
goal is always to stimulate people. Okay, guys, KR, it was another wild week with very interesting stories all over the place.
Yes. 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 We saw this story about Boston Celtics head coach, and that story kind of I think it sparked the idea to do this show um,
Yeah.
as a main topic, just touching on the broader spectrum, not only him but also the whole question: is she really worth it? I think, and
Is it
or
ever
is
worth
he
it?
really worth it? Or is he
Is he
worth it?
worth it? Is he worth it? Is it ever worth it?
Is it ever worth it? I think
Is
that's a
it
better
ever
way. Yeah,
worth it?
maybe we should change the name of the title. Is it
Yeah, we
ever
can
worth
change
it?
it. Yeah, you can.
You can always change
Because
it.
I can tell you, KR as a lawyer, we'll definitely get into it more. But
Don't spill the
those type
beans.
of
Don't spill the beans.
those type of, well, I'll say this and then we continue. But those type of um, actions, so what we consider as misconduct, and especially, yeah, it goes both ways. But oftentimes, as a man, if you go to HR and say someone is harassing you, you might get left out here. So, but it can go from both ways. But we'll definitely touch on it
Let's touch on that later on.
later
And
on.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Sorry to interrupt you. Do your thing, man.
interrupt me. You were talking. Continue, please.
Good, good. No, man. We have a lot to get into in today's show, and we are focusing on the story that KR just talked about, which is the, well, we're gonna talk about the Ime Udoka story and use that as a platform to jump into some deeper conversations, thought-provoking conversations. Um, just want to say thanks to everyone who's following the live or watching the rebroadcasting. As you know, we really appreciate your support. Thank you for liking the video, for sharing our content. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it. Of course, share the video with people who you know will most likely enjoy the content of this video. We really truly hope you guys enjoy the show. Just before you continue, could you please let us know if you can hear us? Just let us know in the comments. Type 1 if you can hear us. Just want to make sure that we're not here alone. So, in the meantime, I see we're struggle streaming already, man.
Struggle streaming. I don't know what
Struggle
happened,
streaming
but
already,
I
man.
don't know what happened. Found
On
myself
cue.
outside.
On
Found
cue.
myself outside looking in.
On cue. No, man. But yeah, yeah, this is KR. This is what live streaming is all about.
That is
You
true. That
never
is
know
true.
what can happen. But the show goes on no matter what.
I
Uh,
just hope we don't find ourselves in the middle of a raid.
I hope so too. Didn't think of it, but thank you for that thought.
Probably I'm the one who's getting raided, but okay.
Yeah. Hey guys, remember as well to check out our Facebook and Instagram page, guys. We just started posting stories, sharing funny clips. It's Double Thought Show both on Instagram and Facebook. So please go check it out, like the page, so we know that we are growing, and so you guys can keep following the show. We There are certain news or posts we drop there that we of course will not drop on YouTube because YouTube is a different platform. I
And
truly
also
hope you
to stay
guys what.
and also to stay up to date. I think one thing you forgot about that because we
Yeah.
update you guys on topics which we will uh, post, and also the topic of today was also posted. I think yesterday already, announcing what we're talking about. So subscribe so you know already what we're going to talk about in the next show.
Yeah, I see we have Joseph Girigori, our loyal follower. Good to see you, Joseph. Um, he was very engaged last time, so we really like it when we're not here to just talk. We're not television. This is a show. This is it's an
Interactive.
interaction. It's an interaction, right? Okay, guys. So before we proceed, for those who know already, the usual disclaimer. As you know, guys, we're not financial or life advisors or any kind of advisors, at least not on this show. The purpose of this show is purely to provide entertainment and share our thoughts, and of course, the opinions of ourselves, but also to exchange thoughts and opinions with our followers. For personal advice on any matter you might think is necessary, we urge you to seek out advice from a professional that is, that can provide you just tailor-made advice that will fit your needs better.
Yes, yes. Thank you for the disclaimer. I think we can transition now to the usual segment, which is the random thought of the day by
Yeah.
RJ.
My
Tell
random
me, what do you have today for us?
my random thought of the day is inspired by a conversation I had that touches upon the topic we're going to discuss today, and it has to do with the how your partner, if you're in business or you work, how your partner will deal with coworkers of the opposite sex. And I share this story because I was in a conversation with a client, and the client basically, uh, he was telling me about not his situation, but a friend of his situation, where the assistant slash secretary was very close or was doing a lot of things for the man, so his friend, and his friend's wife or partner. I don't know what it was, but the partner, let's say the partner, she didn't really appreciate it, or so what she started to do was she started to go to work. And so because the friend he owned his own business, so the wife started to go to work and just sit there, just pop up randomly with gifts. And eventually the wife started to sit in on meetings, and afterwards, a couple of maybe weeks later, the secretary got a call from the wife saying, excuse me, I don't like that you guys are doing things behind my back. And the secretary was like, things behind your back? What are you talking about? Yes, I don't like when you guys discuss work-related matters behind my back. So as you can imagine, or maybe you can't, but when that happened, when the wife or when the secretary received that call, she couldn't say anything.
Crickets.
And the wife was like, say something, because this is really serious. And all the wife could hear on the other line was, nothing.
No.
The secretary was speechless, and what she did afterwards was she quit. She quit because she did not want to be in it. She didn't like working under that environment, and she didn't want to come between her boss and the wife. So my random thought of the day based on that story is, you need to pick your life partners well, because your life partner is basically the one that when you go to sleep, you'll hear his or her voice, right? If that's the last voice you'll hear when you're tired. And you want that to be someone who can bring constructive opinions, can add value to your life, and not someone to take away value from your life. Choose your partners wisely, especially if you're in business. Because I think if you're an employee, you don't feel it as heavy. But let me just say, according to the client, the friend is currently desperately in search of a new secretary, because she was so good, and now she needs to, he needs to look for another alternative, man.
Insecurities, man.
Well, we can say insecurities, but let's also play devil's advocate. Relating to the story of today, sometimes the insecurities are warranted too, man.
Yeah, maybe he has a history of, God knows.
Yeah.
God knows.
Maybe.
Or maybe not, and those two know.
Maybe.
Well,
That's
thank you for the random thought of the day, RJ. Guys, I think we can continue right away with the topic. But before we do, don't forget to like this video, so it puts us higher in the algorithm. While I open up the article, the topic of today, Ime Udoka. Earlier last week, it was announced that Ime Udoka, head coach of the Boston Celtics, got a 1-year suspension for having an affair with a staff member. Boston Celtics Great team last year. They reached the finals
Great team.
under as with him as coach, Ime Udoka, first year coach as well, basically a rookie coach on a rookie deal. This is like well, it is a rookie deal. He's first he was basically coaching, being an assistant for I think 10 years or so, 9 years before he took this job, and he basically went on his first year to the finals after a very um, interesting season. Changes within how they did early on the season versus how they did later in the season. But basically, yeah, this is the climax or anti-climax. What do you want? How you want to look at it? It's, you can look at it from different angles. Uh,
Depending, yeah,
again,
depending on where you're standing, right?
yes, yes, yes. Um, so yes, let's continue with. He also issued a statement after the announcement of his suspension. He said, I want to apologize to the players, fans, and entire Celtics organization and my family for letting them down. I'm sorry for putting the team in this difficult situation, and I accept the team's decision. Out of respect for everyone involved, I will have no further comments. I will have no further comments. Very interesting statement. Also looking at the gravity of the situation. After the announcement of this suspension, players came on to defend him. One of them was Matt Barnes, former NBA player and also right now a journalist, would you say, RJ?
Yeah, you can call him a journalist. He works alongside Stephen Jackson. They have a great show, All the Smoke, I think it's called. They have a great
Okay.
basketball show. So he transitioned from basketball to journalism.
Yes, yes. So he came into defense of Ime Udoka until, from what he himself told, uh, I think Vlad TV and also other
Yeah,
platforms,
yeah.
that he heard
He has some
what.
inside information that is apparently not open yet, and he's saying that if those, if all the, well, basically he said that if all the information comes out, he doesn't believe that uh, he will have a job in the NBA ever again. So seems like it's pretty serious according to him. But let's see.
Yeah, so basically, what could those be? First of all, let's go first to what really happened. He had a office romance, a consensual office romance. Um, he had apparently a relationship with a woman at Celtics in the Celtics organization, and according to the stories, the sources we have surveyed, uh, that person basically broke up the affair or wanted to break up the affair, and as usually happens with affairs, one might not want to break up while the other does. Uh, and in this case, the affair turned into a, let's say, a harassment situation.
Is it allegedly or is it definitive?
Well,
Definitive.
let's call it, it says here, accused them of making unwanted comments towards her. That
Hmm.
sounds like,
An accusation.
An accusation. Okay, let's
I'm
call
a
it an
I'm a
accusation.
lawyer. I'm very sensitive to the
Okay,
wording and this
let's
accusation. Yeah, yeah.
let's okay. That's allegedly, according to the sources,
According to the sources. Yeah, according to the sources.
he made some unwanted comments
Yeah,
towards her after she wanted to break it up.
yeah.
And after that, she probably blew the whistle on him, and the team started the investigation.
It's not a double entendre, I think, right?
Let's continue. Uh,
Continue. That's cool,
a
man.
double entendre shouldn't be announced, man. Come on.
I'm just asking just to see if I just want to listen, man. Listen. I'm just asking because I want to know if I can credit you for the what I understood or not. But
Ne-
I
Never
guess
tell
not.
the joke when you'll never explain the joke when you told it. But okay,
Just
let's.
asking, just asking. But
Okay.
okay, man. I proceed.
But you caught it. You caught it, and
Yeah,
you. That's a good thing.
yeah,
Anyway, so the team launched an internal investigation, and based on that internal investigation, they decided to release a statement on the 22nd of September stating that the Boston Celtics announced today that the team has suspended head coach Ime Udoka for the 2023 season for violation of team policies. A decision about his future with the Celtics beyond this season will be made at a later date. The suspension takes effect immediately. So imagine right now, if I'm correct, RJ, the season is right now in the beginnings. People training camps, getting ready
it's
for the
pretty ready
season,
for
and
the
then
season.
this one hits. I think he's followed up by his assistant coach for the time being.
Yeah,
But this
yeah,
is, of course, this probably will hit like a bomb in the team for them
yeah.
to their coach. Maybe I don't know. Their coach is basically ripped out of this team.
Yeah, well, they have a. It's difficult. They have a very talented team, a very talented team. But talent is not enough. You need leadership, and I think that Ime Udoka has proven that he has the that he has what it takes to lead. I'm not there, KR. I'm not there, man. I'm serious. I'm trying to stay serious, man. So I think Ime Udoka has proven that he has what it takes to lead a team because they have been very talented for a long while, but it was always like, yeah, they have a good team, but they don't have the right chemistry. And I think that they have a very good team now. So maybe the Celtics will not feel the negative consequences as much, depending on who the assistant coach is.
I guess he didn't only bring chemistry to the team, right?
I guess not, man. I guess not.
Yeah. So who is Ime Udoka? Ime was a former basketball player. He was a former basketball player. I don't know if you guys can see. He started his career in basketball in 2001 season, playing for the Moorhead Bees. Basically, I think that's the G League.
Probably.
Then he went to he was basically, if you look at his career as a player, he was a journeyman. He was the definition of a journeyman. He started off in Fargo Moorhead's Bees. Then he went to Argentina, came back to the U.S., played again in the G League. He went to Spain, Played for the Lakers a season, went back to the G League, Spain, France, came back to the NBA. So in total, I think he played seven seasons in the NBA and closed out his career in Spain at UCAM Murcia, UCAM, I think Murcia.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
And since then, 2012, he was first of the assistant coach at San Antonio Spurs to the great
Greg
Popovich,
Popovich. Yeah.
legendary
One of the
coach.
greats.
Maybe you can tell something about him, about his accolades.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Popovich is regarded as one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA. You can put him in a category of uh, I'm having a blank. I'm having a blank because I have both people in front of me, but I can't recall the names right now. The Pat Riley. Pat
That's
Riley
right.
definitely is regarded as one of the greats. And you also have what's the Bulls and Laker, the former Bulls and Laker coach, Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson.
Yeah, man.
Phil was also on the.
Phil
It's
was
not
also
allegedly. It's in the book. It's in the book.
Phil also had his has had his
That is
story.
fun. That is fun.
That is fun. Yeah, but yeah. So he's definitely regarded as one of the greats. And what's very what stands out about Popovich is that he's known. So you can never count because he's the coach of the Spurs. KairR, you can never count out the Spurs. They lose talent. He makes new talent. They have an average team and still make the playoffs in the Western Conference, which is one of the toughest conferences for sure. So this guy Popovich is a very good coach, and it's also known that the former assistant coaches of his have are oftentimes sought out to become head coaches in other teams.
Organizations, yeah.
Yeah, other organizations, definitely. And one of the most noteworthy ones was Becky Hammond, who was, I think, she was the first assistant because she's a former WNBA player, or female, and she coached. She was the first assistant coach, I believe, or at least one of the first female assistant coaches in the NBA. And she was legit. So it wasn't a quota thing, let's put a woman there. No, she
was the real deal.
Definitely was the real deal. And I think she's a head coach now in the WNBA. I don't know for what team. I'm gonna check it out later, but she's legit. And so Ime Udoka comes from that pedigree.
Tree.
Yeah.
From that tree.
He has pedigree, and that's why it wasn't a surprise, even though his name was not known, not well known like other names. He was definitely the fact that he came from an organization, a strong organization like that, is what made people trust in him, and that's why no one was really surprised of his achievements, NBA achievements. Yeah, last season.
Okay.
We are surprised
about everything else. I don't know if you can rank him as achievement.
I don't think you can call it achievement. No. We need to call it someone else.
So he's been playing all over the place. Let's pocket watch a little bit here. What has he been making all those years? So his salary in 2010 was his first year and then in the Spurs organization, he made just 350, 360. After that, he
Hmm.
started making more. 1 million, 1 million. In total, he made in those years about 5 million. One of the um, amounts that are missing is his time at the Lakers here. But you can basically guess it's somewhere between the $6 million and about 12 million. That's what he made during his career. So he's not a baller. Well, he's a basketball player, but he ain't driving around with
Money
60
in his pocket.
cars.
No, no,
He ain't LeBron
no, no, no.
money wise. So
Mm.
I'll say this not as a disrespect.
Yeah,
He needs the job.
yeah. Definitely needs a job. I mean, we don't know about. I don't know about this. I don't think you do either. About this
Finances.
other his portfolio, we don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think. I think he needs the job. Definitely.
So I'm comparing him to guys like LeBron. LeBron can retire tomorrow and just sit somewhere in the Bahamas and never show his face again and never do anything, lift a finger, and
Yeah.
still can continue living. So that's what I'm comparing him to.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So this is also what has he made last year as a starting coach? Usually, the first year coach, head coach, you make around about 3 million a year. So basically, it's a 3 million word of. It's a very expensive one, but anyway,
Yeah, definitely.
Greg Popovich, who was his former mentor, made 12 million. So that's where we could have grown to. So he
Definitely.
worked 9 years, about 9 years as a assistant coach to work towards this moment. It should have been the climax, or not the climax.
What are you talking about, man? We're
It
talking
should have
about the
been.
we're talking about the career, man. We're not there
He
yet.
was. It,
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Come on,
what I
rewind,
mean
rewind.
was, let's bring that back. Let's bring it back. You guys didn't hear that one. This was supposed to be the beginning of a great career as a head coach, going from 3 million up to 12 million a year. And now he's suspended.
Yeah, tough, man.
Tough situations, tough situations. But what does it mean? He cannot play, or he cannot coach this year. And I think this is more as for the organization, more of a chess move in order to have more time to investigate what really happened, and then further to make a decision whether they want to fire him or not, and not to
Yeah,
fire right away,
yeah,
and then having to deal with a lot of lawsuits. I think they
yeah,
want to settle everything first, and then basically, damn, I cannot.
yeah. No, no, but just to be clear, so he is not accused of breaking any NBA rule. It's a purely organizational rule. So that's why the organization is taking measures against, uh, or are basically taking measures against them, and they're contemplating the severity of the measures. Probably they still need more information. They hired a law firm to do the investigation, an external law firm, and so that was something that was going on for a while. I think I read somewhere that he didn't tell he didn't tell his partner, who we're going to talk about in a bit. But he didn't tell Nia Long, man, of all the women, Nia Long. But he didn't tell. So allegedly, I mean, from some certain news sources, Nia Long found out when we all found out, or at least short, just moments before, maybe a couple of days before. But this investigation was going on for a while now.
Since June or something like that, since the early summer, I think, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That is a bit crazy. And since we're switching to, you mentioned her, Nia Long. This is her and
Hmm.
Ime in better days. Early, I think it's early 2010, somewhere like that. Because I think Ime isn't this slim anymore. He got
No,
some.
no,
He's eating better. You know the the
yeah,
the the, the, the NBA head coach checks is coming in.
yeah. But I mean, if you look at this, I mean, if you look at the picture, they do seem like a great. So aesthetically, they look like a good couple, man. Picture perfect. But at the same time, I mean,
Not
I'm a bit jealous. I'm not jealous, but
hey.
it's still. I mean, this is Nia Long. If you ask millennials, I mean, it's just like you put her in the category of Halle Berry. It's one of those women you when you're growing up, one of the first, let's say, beautiful women you see on television, and yeah, so that's what I see. I mean, Nia Long is not. I don't know about her now, but she was considered a prize. Definitely in her younger days when she was coming up, because everyone wanted to get with Nia Long.
Yes, and she is still good looking. I mean, years later, she still
She
this dude
aged well.
looks. She aged well, and this
Yeah,
is also
definitely.
her these days. She's now 51,
Okay.
and she was basically settling down with a guy. She was, like you said, he didn't tell her about the investigation, so she was, I think, a couple of weeks ago, looking for houses to buy in Boston because they also have a kid together.
She was making it. Yeah, she was doing what you're supposed to do when you're nesting, right? When you're
Yeah,
settling down, building a life together. So yeah,
and it's their son.
okay, they have a son.
So basically, they were trying to make it work, but I guess
Whose genes? Yeah.
what?
Continue.
Okay. Uh,
No,
so let's continue. Let's continue. I'm going to act as if I didn't want to hear where you were going to.
let's let's continue.
So Matt Barnes, and I'm going back to the Matt Barnes part. He said it's not during one of where is Matt Barnes? I think it's here. Matt Barnes said it's who, not what he did, but who he did it to.
Yeah.
So the rumors, according to sources, well, we've looked at different sources, which we also put in the description later on. Allegedly, he had affairs with not only one woman, but two.
Hmm.
Let's say woman number one is the wife of a vice president of finance. My
Yo.
God.
So the man that's cutting the checks,
Oh
or
man.
at least the man that has the checks in your check, Ime Udoka's check in his hands.
You gotta be a savage to put your own checks in on the weighing scale.
Yeah, especially
What
with a
kind of
salary like that. Yeah,
what kind of madman does that?
yeah, it's crazy, man. Someone who doesn't like someone who's trying to sabotage his life. I would think that's what I would think.
The
Someone,
second the second affair was with a assistant or someone who's in the organization on a floor level. So, but both of them were married, according to the sources. So it's not clear. They so the media is basically right now searching who it really happened to. There are some rumors, names being thrown out there, but
yeah,
it's hard right now because basically what is being released by Celtics is that both the people involved are anonymous. So they're trying
yeah,
to stay anonymous as long as they can. I hope their husbands know by by now.
yeah, must be.
But
But I
uh,
think the Celtics, it's good to mention this as well, that the Celtics the Celtics organization um, has been criticized for the way they broke the news because the way they broke it in the beginning, they it's like if you're gonna do some things, the main criticism was if you're gonna do something, do it. Don't don't come out with a news that leaves people with questions, unnecessary questions, because the way they just mentioned that the man was suspended because he broke with protocols of the organization. It was also mentioned that it was unfair, but and I do agree with this. If you're not finished, if you haven't decided yet what measures you will take, why would you break the news now? Because people are asking questions, they are trying to figure out what happened, so a lot of speculation, and some people are dragged into whole this whole scandal that perhaps have nothing to do with it. But
well,
from NBA players, former NBA players who are currently in the media, and you can also Kendrick Perkins is another one who's on ESPN, also a former Celtics player. Um, they all say the same thing. If you're gonna come out, do it correct and do it complete. Matt Barnes says that he knows more, he has more information, and he has reasons to believe that if the whole story comes out, this man is over with.
well, I don't totally agree with you with that statement regarding or even with the other ones. I understand what they mean from a media perspective. They're talking from a as media, but from an organizational standpoint, I don't think what they did was wrong. Also, looking at the fact that you're gearing up to a season, so you have to, if you know you're already going to, probably you're going to sack him, you don't want to interrupt at mid preparation time, right?
But you could, yeah, you could always do it internally. But I think your argument would be that it would have leaked anyway.
If you would do it internally, people would ask why isn't he in the training
Doghouse.
and doghouse and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that
Well,
would be create more even more questions. So right now you give people some. So
well,
what the team is also doing is they are protecting themselves. So
The team is
They are setting. I'm gonna say this straight up. They are
yeah,
setting the guy up to be
yeah.
fired
That's clear.
without people complaining about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I agree with you, but but if you're gonna give if you're gonna come out with the information, it still needs to be complete. And what you would perhaps need to do is to anticipate possible questions. For example, because the first questions that people will ask is, who are the girls or the women in this case? I hope. Who are the women? No, I mean, we don't know. Who
You
are
don't
the
know.
women?
That's true.
We
That
don't
is true.
know.
That is true.
Who are the women? So if you say, I mean, you can say the identity of the women are being held, are will remain confidential to protect them. For example, I'm just giving an example.
Mhm.
If the women are, well, no, it doesn't matter. If they have a support, if they are support staff or whatever positions, you want to protect them, then you should say it like that, because then the media would know as well. I mean, you need to be a real, you need to be a real indecent person to disclose that information. When you hear, despite them saying, yeah, they want to keep the information confidential to protect them. Some people think the women don't need protection because they both both women agreed that their respective relationships were uh, consensual.
Consensual.
And so some people argue that that if Udoka is gonna get a certain treatment, the women should get it as well, because you need to be transparent. But then you have the discussion about power dynamics, and we don't know if there was a power dynamic in that situation. But that's what I mean with speculation. You
Yeah.
come out with a story, and people will start speculating.
Maybe it's on purpose. Who knows? But
Maybe it was the assistant coach that dropped.
there are also far more crazier stories going around, like him also having relationships with allegedly player wives. I don't know what is true about
Mm.
that. I mean, I do agree with you that if you that's one of the consequences of not being open about the situation, because then people start throwing anything out there.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but I think from I understand both sides. I understand both sides. From an organizational standpoint, you would have to say right now we have to focus on the season, because the season hasn't even started. If they don't put him on a um, suspension right now, he would have to he would start the season. Maybe they would be finished within a couple of months with the investigation. The season already started, and then you're gonna sack him. That's gonna be an even crazier story. Like, why would you sack him right now? Why didn't you sack him earlier? Technically, as an organization, you're always wrong
Yeah,
in this situation. But yeah, so that's the story of Ime.
that's the story. Yeah.
That's the story. It's a really crazy story. During the
But
same period, again, you want to say something?
no, so I mean, it's not uncommon. We're gonna talk about that in the next segment. But
Yeah.
continue.
So it's a crazy story, but during the same period, there was also other stories in the same news cycle. Guys doing basically the same, but in other fields. We have one very well known YouTuber Ned Fulmer. You guys might not know him. He's from the YouTube show The Try Guys, and he got caught red-handed, unlike Ime. Unlike Ime, he got caught. Well, I'm not totally. Anyway, yeah, he got caught red-handed
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with his arm up to the elbow in the cookie jar. Come on, Nat. Up to the elbow. Come
Yeah,
on, dude.
yeah.
He
That's
was in a club kissing with his producer.
no. You don't say, KR. You don't say. Say it ain't so.
He co-founded the Try Guys. It's an 8 million subscriber YouTube channel. So they are
Balling.
making it. He from the group, he's making it really big.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he got caught red-handed. 7 point, as you can see here, 7.8 million subscribers, and basically it was released in the last week that he was fired, as Trump would say. You're fired
You're fire.
from the channel. He co-founded. We don't know how the financials are behind it, how it's
And
structured, because you can be fired but still be
compensated
compensated.
unless someone sues you. But I don't think there's something to be sued because it was consensual in this case as well. Another option would be, I mean, even if he got fired, an interesting question would be whether or not this is the end. Because maybe he's going to fight it.
Maybe he fired himself. Who knows?
No.
I mean, the channel should survive, right? Sometimes you gotta do a seppuku
Maybe.
or harakiri.
Maybe. Let's see.
But he wasn't. He wasn't.
Doesn't
already
look
in
like
the last-
someone. It doesn't look from the picture like someone who has that Japanese courage, though. But continue.
Don't shame the man.
No, I think
Don't
he
shame
shamed
the man.
himself. Yeah,
That is true. That is true.
I didn't.
So here is he
anything.
with his wife. And one thing we didn't. You might have seen it, but we didn't say is that the producer. So this is Nat's wife. Nat on the left side, and his wife.
That is the
This is
one
the
that
producer
the guy, right?
on the right side.
Oh, the girl. Okay.
And the girl, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The producer, it's her name is Alexandria Herring.
Okay.
Yes,
And she's standing there with her brother.
with her fiance.
Oh.
So it was
say
both of
ain't
them were
so.
in a relationship.
No.
My God.
Yeah. Well.
Make it messier. This is Alexandria in better times, in happier times, or maybe she's happy now.
She was
Maybe
about to
she's
get
happy.
married too. She was about to get married too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nat released a statement saying, "Family should have always been my priority. I lost focus and had a consensual." That's the key word these days.
The key word
You
these
have to
days.
mention that word. Consensual workplace relationship. Or if you don't put it in there, people
It's
might
over.
think
You were forcing people into relationship.
forcing people into
No,
relationship.
no.
I'm sorry for any pain that my actions may have caused to the guys and to the fans, but most of all to Ariel. Can even mention her side.
No.
Screw her, right? Well, man, I'm so good at this, man. It's crazy. The only thing that matters right now is
Come on.
sorry guys.
Come on, man. Come on.
My children.
Come on.
Oh man. Ariel also released. Ariel is the wife of Ned. So just so I think you guys already understood that with my kind of could be insensitive joke, but
Yeah, it's not sensitive.
anyway,
Uh,
I said insensitive. I didn't say it's sensitive.
no, yeah.
But anyway, Ariel also released, the wife of Ned also released a statement. Thanks to everyone who has reached out to me. It's a lot, means a lot. Nothing is more important to me and Ned than our family. They even had, by the way, they also had a second channel, a family channel, basically telling the story of a Instagram social media family. So
Mm.
not only the family is important, our family is also making money as being a family. So you have to
Yeah,
have a good bond. You
yeah,
cannot break it up.
yeah. And I think I saw somewhere that, because I wasn't aware of the show either, but I saw somewhere that the Ned, who was basically, who's the guy that basically cheated. He he was the one on the show always talking about his wife. He was the one always in the discussions saying, my wife this, my wife that. So this came as a shocker, because of all the four guys that made the group, no one ever saw that the one that was basically branded the relationship guy,
The good guy.
the good guy, was being a bit naughty,
To say the least.
to say the least. So
Keep an eye out.
keep an eye out. It's goes to show you that sometimes appearance is not always what they seem to be. It might look good. It might look good for the photo moments, but that doesn't mean that in reality it's the same. Then in reality it might be a nightmare. I'm just saying.
That is true. That is true. Now you're writing statements, trying to do the PR stuff, try to
Oh,
minimize.
one more thought. Can you go back to the previous message? His first message. When I saw this post, my first thing that came to mind as a lawyer was, this is not necessarily a post to say sorry. It has two purposes. One, damage control. But the most important reason for this legally, and you touched on it, is to use the word consensual. That's the main reason of this post. And you see it more and more when people get caught in scandals. They don't miss a chance to use the word consensual, to make it clear that there were both parties or more parties, that both parties, or sometimes more, were that all parties were willingly partaking in the affair. Let's
Okay,
let's land the
let's
plane.
land it. You
Let's
landed
land
it
it.
pretty nice. Let's land. You landed it pretty nice. I would have
Let's land it.
probably I
You
would have.
would you would have crashed it.
Was a nice landing. Was a nice landing.
Yeah, yeah,
And Ariel closed it out with basically with the classic statement. And we all respect. So we all request right now. All we request right now is that you respect our privacy and for the sake our privacy for the sake of our children.
yeah.
So basically, telling everyone back off,
Back off. Leave me alone.
back off,
Yeah, yeah,
leave me
yeah,
alone. Has Nia Long released a statement already?
yeah. Nia Long released a statement saying that um, her main focus is protecting the family. So making sure that the family is okay. And with
Are they
family,
using?
of course, with family, she's referring primarily to her child.
Well, she's engaged to Ime, so maybe he's
I
also
don't
part
know.
of the
I
family.
don't know if he's his family. I don't know if she
We'll know
regards him
soon
as
enough.
family. We'll know soon enough.
Know soon enough.
Because the question is whether. No, we'll leave that for later.
So, guys, if you ever get caught and you're well known, take these, but because they basically use the same format. Let your
Same
wife
Uh,
or your girlfriend post the same statements
yeah.
Ariel and
Yeah.
Nia did.
Yeah.
Basically, it's almost the same message.
Yeah. Maybe they have the same lawyers.
Family, maybe they have a PR firm, probably.
Maybe.
Lawyer, who knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows? Anyway, so the ex-fiance of the it's now ex-fiance,
No, they're
the
not
former
gonna get
fiance.
married anymore.
I guess they don't. He was caught racing a champagne glass. I'm finally out.
Um,
I'm out of this deal.
yeah, yeah.
I'm lucky. Probably telling himself he
Yeah.
got lucky. Imagine
Lucky.
imagine
Yeah.
you marry her, and then a day after it's released that she was sleeping all this time, or allegedly having a relationship with him. I don't know what kind of acts they were doing during this consensual work relationship. It's released after you marry her. What do? Do you accept her for her flaws? Do you back at her? It's a
Yeah.
lose situation. Or do you divorce her one day after? Like, what's the Kim Kardashian and the other basketball player?
Yeah, Chris Humphries. I think they were married 82 days.
82, 82 days. But so
We
so
have
he
a yeah, we have a comment from our follower Letitia Wall saying these people went and disrespected their families in public and now ask for respect for the families.
hey.
The damage is already done.
Yeah. The damage. I think that's what you always don't hope for. Definitely if you are a public figure.
Yeah.
This is it's big damage to the family. So everyone lost in this. Well, I guess
Steve
Stephen
looks happy, man.
Stephen looks happy. He's the only one who's winning right now.
It was
Stephen
like
Kuzo, the Paisan.
yeah. Steven was like I'm
Hey, shout
glad
out
I
to
found
Stephen,
out.
man.
I'm glad I found out now because I was just about to pay the wedding bills, and now
Oh, that's one thing I forgot. Good thing you said it. He would have had to eat that one. Oh my god.
yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe he would have said, let's get if he paid the everything already, he might have thought, you know what, let's go through with it, and then we'll get divorced afterwards because we can't get our money back anyway. So let's let's at le-
Hey,
let's at least
hey,
let's at least ha- take some good pictures so we know
yes. So
why
so
they say.
we were together, and why I
Yeah,
hate you so much.
yeah, definitely.
But so the whole saga, the telenovela, was released through
Telenovela.
him. It was a random stranger in the club who took a picture of Ned and Alexandria kissing on the dance floor, and they sent it to him. And then through some kind of Reddit post, it was released that they were together. So
Mm.
it's a crazy story that you get in your DMs. You get a picture showing you that your girl is being.
No, it's not your girl. It's not only. It's not. You're not his only man.
It's only. It's not your girl,
Uh,
as Future says. It's only your turn.
it's only your turn. It's only your turn. Yeah,
The great Future Damas.
featured. Yeah.
Anyway, so right now Ariel and Ned are working things out. They have been seen together, and as you can see, they are trying to work things out. I don't know if Nia and Ime are trying to work things out, but um, it's going the right direction for Ned as far as we can see. So let's pocket watch Ned. What is Ned's worth? According to sources all
Pun
over the
intended. Pun not intended again. Come on, man. Come
well,
on.
this one I didn't mean. The
Come
other
on.
ones were
Yeah,
on
yeah.
purpose,
Oh,
but
that
this
was
one,
and this was a perfect one, man.
that
This
was a perfect
what
one.
is net worth?
Maybe it's my subconscious. I don't know.
Maybe,
My
maybe.
subconscious is so great. I don't know,
Well,
man. But anyway, let's continue to look into his pockets. Ned is worth 10 million.
hmm.
Could that be the reason why she's holding out? See how is the will he go further? 50-50. Who knows? Who
Who
knows?
knows? Who knows?
Who knows? But Ned is obviously the cash cow because in the Try Guys group, the second one is 8 million, has 8 million less.
Hmm.
I
Well,
don't
you
know
can
how the
say.
heck.
Well, you can say that corn fell. Oh, just give it. Just come
Oh
on.
man.
This is it.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
This is
Try this one. Try this one. Oh, I guess you don't have.
Eugene
We have
Lee
to.
Yang. I'm not
Oh
gonna
man.
even touch this one.
Don't touch it. Don't
I'm
touch it.
not gonna touch this
Lee got 700K. Yeah, 700K, and Keith 200. I don't know what
Habersberger.
I don't know if these numbers are correct, but according to narcity.com, it is.
But
I
why,
don't know.
I do ask myself why he gets more. So probably
He has more
he has
channels. That's
more.
I think
Okay.
he has. I think he
Oh, he has
has
more.
a channel
So
with the.
leverage wise, he had more to offer, let's say, to negotiate in the deal.
No, technically he has more YouTube channels, and he has also branded out.
I get it. So you mean this is not from that one platform? It's his total.
I think it's total network. Yeah, it's his total. I think
Well,
that's yeah.
he
Continue.
might get more. What's the guy name? Or what's the guy's name? The African American guy that was telling. I don't know if he's a pastor, or he was something Jackson. It was telling women how men should treat them, and then they found him in a Derrick Jaxn, I think his name was, and then they found him
Is
in
he
a scandal.
pastor? You said?
I don't know if he's a pastor. I always thought he was a pastor.
Well, he was preaching to the choir. But he's no pastor.
Let me see. I thought he was.
It's Derrick Jaxn. Derrick Jaxn got He was talking about fidelity and all that stuff,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he got caught also red-handed. I think
But his
his
case
side
was,
piece was also. I think his side piece was also pregnant, or maybe
I
I
don't
could be
know.
wrong. Maybe I
Yeah,
could be wrong.
I don't recall that. But what I do know is that I think in his case he was basically telling where he was basically talking bad about man, saying a
He
man should
was
do
telling,
this, a man
yeah,
should do that, a real man should do this, and it turned out that he didn't have, I think, one, but he had multiple affairs. So he was cheating left and right, man. He's a hypocrite, and now he's still going. So what I'm saying is, Ned can rebrand and continue just like Darren, what's his dude's name, Jackson did. I don't know.
he can start a new channel.
He can start a new channel. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Try you. Let me try you. Oh,
It's let's continue.
no, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue. So, we are talking, of course, about infidelity at the workplace. Well, not at the workplace. Infidelity in general, and where it happens is at the workplace. Um, there are a lot of stats. So, how do work affairs at the workplace start? So, according to the stats, I'm going to mention a couple of stats right here. 48 to 50% of all 48 to 50% of people will or have dated a coworker at one point. 28% of the people believe that a office relationship is fair game.
What does that mean?
So about 28% would believe that it's okay to have a
Okay.
office relationship. And what kind of matter? So an office relationship could also be a emotional relationship. So
Canada, but I think this is more so
so
it has nothing to do with, it's not talking about, so it's not saying 28% of people in relationships think it's
no,
okay.
in
They're just
general.
saying in general, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, who cares if I'm not gonna say.
This in the case of the secretary is adding home with the janitor. It's not your problem.
Unless the secretary is your wife and she's working at the same firm.
Yo.
I do think you have as a lawyer you should state, of course, the obvious.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
should
you
cap
have
it.
to say there are always exceptions, man. There are always yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah,
say you work.
yeah. There are
Anyway,
always exceptions. Yeah.
65% of the people who work in the office has had some form of relationship. Like I said, it's emotional. Like as you said, what
But I
is
mean,
emotional?
so
You
I
have the
mean,
hobby, the work hobby thing.
yeah, you have the work hobby thing, so the work wife and work husband. But I mean, how, when is a when do you have a when do you qualify it? When do you qualify it as a work relationship then? Even if it's platonic, when do you qualify it? Like at
It's a
what point?
relationship. They're not saying
But
you're
I mean,
banging out.
is it different than, so for example, you work at an office with 20 people, you talk with
Mhm.
maybe 10 of them, you have a relationship with each one of them. Does that qualify as a work relationship, a platonic work relationship, for example? Because I do agree that that's possible. I mean, I don't
A re-
that's why I say work not a platonic work relationship.
If you're only hanging out with them in the lunch continuously, I think there's already separation right there.
Yeah,
You're gonna
but
take drinks on Friday. You're gonna eat together.
but
They are.
okay. So I'll push back on that one. A lot of people, let's say people um who have, let's say you have no sexual interest in someone.
Mhm.
You're just friends. It can be for let's say people of the same sex, maybe hetero women or hetero men, or maybe there are homosexual men going out with other men or women, but or homosexual women, but there's no connection there. You don't feel anything. Does it get qualified as a relationship, as an office relationship, or does there need to be emotions? That's why I don't really understand. You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
thin line. It's a
It's a
thin line.
thin
I
line, yeah.
understand what you're saying. It's a very
So that's
thin
what I
line.
mean. Yeah,
But guys, watch out for the work hobbies because the next or the work
they're trying to
wives.
bring home the bacon.
Oh, 85% of affairs outside of marriage start at the office.
Oh wow. Mm.
And in addition, 85% of the cases of infidelity, like I said, just start as friends, often in the workplace.
Mm. Mm.
So that might be something to look out. If she's talking about how great her work hobby is, or he's talking about how great, he probably isn't talking about, to be honest. But she might be talking to you about.
No,
Hey
but
man,
maybe he's talking about it or she's talking about it um, to the wife or let's say significant other, because maybe the one talking about it doesn't have bad or ill intentions. So he will
hmm,
talk about or she will talk about it because there's what why wouldn't you talk about it? But perhaps the other one does.
if she has a work hobby or he has a work well, this only applies to the work one. I was about to say a great quote, but it only applies to work wives, but work hobbies. But anyway, so those are
You can
some
still
some
tell it
some
though.
stats relating the frequency. Huh?
You can still tell it, or is it? Should we just?
No, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
just
continue. I'm
okay.
gonna
Cool.
continue because otherwise I'm drifting from the main subject.
Okay.
Who is having those affairs? We have 36% of affairs involved married partner. About 66% of the office workers start during the winter months. Coughing season.
Coughing season. Yeah, it's cold, man. It's cold.
I'll tell you
Hey, let
this
me tell
much.
you, man. In Europe, in Europe, coughing season is gonna be heavy this year, man.
I was contemplating a I'll say this much. I
Yo.
was contemplating a um a random thought of the day relating that, but I think I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna choose
No,
something
yeah,
else.
no, man.
Um,
Russia is
but anyway,
cold, man. No
it's
pun
it's gonna be a
intended.
cold
Gonna be a
winter.
cold winter.
But
Coughing season.
guys, or women, if there is a Christmas party, please go with your significant other to that one because about 31% of the first kisses between colleagues happened at the Christmas party.
You don't say,
Right.
man. Yikes. You don't say, man. Christmas parties. So that's almost a third.
The third. So you better be out there surveying, surveying, because
That,
if that work hobby is everyone lit, everyone has a couple of drinks in, it's
yeah,
getting
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
frisky. Before you know it,
It can be too late.
can be too late. Can be too late.
Christmas of all times.
In general, if you look at the whole situation, people are working together, so they spend a lot of time together. The amount of time people spend at work is in general far more than what they spend with their spouses. You spend 40, 60, 80, depending on your job, 80 hours at work. A lot of
Yeah,
times I think those work affairs start slowly. You're working together in stressful situations, you're bonding, you have shared goals at that situation. Both of you guys see each other in a great light, because I mean, you're in your, at
you
least
solve.
I hope, again.
I say you solve problems together. You, yeah,
Yes, yes, you solve problems, you share ups and downs, successes, difficulties. So there is a bonding situation right there. So
yeah,
that's the risk, or that's, it's, I mean, you don't want it to happen, but it's natural. The
yeah.
longer you are around someone, you might fall in love with them. Who
Yeah,
knows? Who knows?
I don't know if it's love. It's just chemistry. It's just you're there and you. It's what you said. You don't get to experience the tough parts and the personal aspects, right? Because you're there to solve other problems, business problems, or work problems. You do it together. It's always you don't get to experience the person on a bad day at home, because at work you have to hold yourself in. So it's only good things you experience. That might be tempting. But your advice is, KR, to go to the Christmas parties. To go to the Christmas party.
I mean, you have to keep an eye out, of course. There are other signs, but if she's talking every week about her hobby, that dude might be up to something.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe,
Maybe, you
maybe
never know. You gotta see, you gotta look him in the eye to see.
I might have glass
Eyes are the
eyes now.
windows to the soul. You gotta see if he has a soul or not.
No, it might be looking at you. It might be looking at you with innocent eyes, and
Or you might
when
shut both of his
and,
eyes that night.
and might look at you. He might look at you with good eyes, innocent eyes, respectable eyes, and every time he steps in the car to go to work to see your partner, he's going on a mission. He's going on a mission.
Oh
You
man.
need to,
Hey, you gotta
and
be, hey, you gotta recognize the dog in people, man.
you have to recognize it. It goes for
You gotta,
both ways.
goes for both ways,
I can
because
tell.
women
Yeah.
are also very cutthroat.
What's interesting, because I used to give. Uh, I might start it up again. I gave in the past some workshops and trainings about intimidation in the workplace. So
Mm.
that's bullying as well, but regards to let's say the sexual intimidation in the workplace. But it goes for bullying as well. Um, when men do it, it's it's oftentimes, if you say a man did it, people will believe you, because men are oftentimes more uh, less refined in the way they do it. How women will do it, they might come close to you to show you something, and then maybe rub their boobs on your back. I'm just, or they might start touching you. No, you don't say that. And they, I mean, if a man will not do it, I mean, this day and age, you have to be crazy to be, to be
Turn
as a
around.
man. As a man, you need to be crazy if you think you can, you know, touch women when you're talking, especially in the workplace. But women, when women do it, it's oftentimes more accepted, especially if the office doesn't have a clear policy. And it might be something that you don't think about, and it might be something that's friendly. It's like, hey, how are you? But from what I've seen, sometimes if you're an employer and you have a company with 200, 300 people and up, you might have a no. You need to be social distancing your people, man, because before you know it, you can have yourself a scam. And with, yeah, you don't know. With we expected a lot of time. The society expects it a lot of time from men. There are some very, to use your word, cutthroat women out there trying to do the same thing, trying to break your family, trying to have babies with your man. So
Guys, don't turn around.
just to be clear, they are going in with the intention not to have only an affair, but to come back home with his baby in her belly.
Tough.
It's crazy, man.
If you guys didn't hear it, don't turn around like me. Not advised. If those boobs are rubbing against you, act as if you don't have feelings.
No,
You
move away.
don't have.
Move away.
Anyway.
Move away.
Don't
I
clock her as well. Guys, don't clock her as well. Because you're going to get a different kind of...
So
don't tell her move away. Just tell him appreciate the rubbing, but go rub on Rob right there. Don't rub on me.
I'll just share one funny story and we can continue. But so where I used to work, one of my former employers, there worked a woman. I think I was probably 20, 25, 26 back then. She was the office. She was let's say, the most important person in the office. She did everything. She knew everything, but she wasn't the owner. She wasn't the director, but she was the one. She knew all the ins and outs of all the departments. And everyone regarded her as, she had a mother figure, and to everyone there, including me. So I remember one day I got to work, and she was figuring something out, but I got there, I think it was maybe in the afternoon, and she was working there she had a very hectic day. And we had a very good, till this day, we have a very good relationship with each other. We call and check in on each other still. And so when I got there, she was so hectic, solving a lot of problems and dealing with a lot of things. When she saw me, she was like, "Oh, Roald, there was something I wanted to ask you from like a couple of since a couple of days ago. And she put her hand here, very innocent. Apparently, because I can recall this, apparently I said, how can I help? And apparently I put her hand down. Well, she told me this like a couple of months afterwards, because she was so, it messed with her But she came back a couple of months after. She said, "Robert, you remember when you did this?" I said, "No, I can't recall." "Don't you remember when I put my hands here on your shoulder and you put it down?" I said, "No, I don't remember." Innocently, I don't recall. Well, apparently, she thought that I thought that she was coming onto me. And she didn't, especially because the relationship was so genuine, the work relationship was so genuine. She didn't want me to think, she didn't want me to think that there was something, something there. But I say that to say this: you can only do that with someone's hands. You can't.
Don't grab
in
anything
all
else,
in
guys.
all other situations, in all other situations, walk away, guys. Walk away. Hey guys, put some ones in the chat. Let us know if you're still here. Let us know if you're enjoying the show. Let us know, guys. Yo, remember to subscribe. Remember to like and share. Get the likes up. We really appreciate it. We put a lot of time and effort in the show. Sometimes it doesn't look like it when you when we talk, when we make jokes like we just made, but there really goes a lot of time
Yeah.
in the whole production. And we do it all for you, for your entertainment. We really value your attention, and we value that you're here with us as well.
So yeah, let's continue. What is up? The cheating industries. Kind of a crazy title, but these
Cheating
are
industries.
streets. Yeah, I don't know why they call it cheating. Well, it's basically the industries where there is the most cheating, and surprisingly for some, but unsurprisingly to others, education is on top.
Mm. Education. Say it ain't so.
Education.
Say it
I
ain't
don't know
so,
who
man.
is being
Taught a lesson,
taught a lesson. What kind of lesson are they teaching
but
there? But
allegedly there are rulers missing constantly. So
second one is insurance, and then there's manufacturing. I don't know,
I
man.
can,
I can't relate
I
to
can imagine insurance, finance insurance. It says
I
because
think they
those
put
are
there as well in finance and insurance. I think there's probably because I don't see anything else about lawyers, etc. So I think maybe they put him in there. I don't know.
listen,
Do
man.
they?
I don't know where you want to take this. I don't know where you want to take this conversation, but I suggest you, I suggest you take it back, man. Come on, and and
Well,
and
I'm not suggesting anything
wait,
because
no, no,
there
no,
was
no.
a poll.
But you're asking me like you're
I don't know.
expecting
I'm
some
asking you
answers, man.
because
Hey, man, access denied.
okay,
Wrong
okay.
place, man. Wrong place, man. I don't know,
Anyway,
but I wanted to
you're
say,
not the one telling.
oh,
Okay,
okay,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Continue.
I just
Now
wanted
you
to
want to say
say,
something?
yeah, I can imagine finance and insurance because in my experience, I do come across that a lot. A lot of it is a lot of it is being done in. So when in my job, I get uh, to deal with inter-office relationships. It's oftentimes in the financial industry and insurance as well. So finance, insurance, it's related. I don't know why, but oftentimes it's a corporate. In that industry, it's always corporate. So big organizations, a lot of people, a lot of fishes to choose from. I guess if you allow me to butcher the sayings, I took both. I took two different sayings and butchered them both simultaneously. But it's like I can see that, I can speak from experience that it happens a lot in that industry.
I guess the sayings are not only the ones that game butchered, right? Go.
Yeah. I guess not. I guess not.
But the reason why I told you don't want to tell, the polls tell it. 51% of attorneys have reported that they have been part of
Say
an
it
office
ain't
romance.
so. Say it ain't so.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were
Those are
setting me up, man.
dogs.
You were setting me
I'll
up.
tell you, I was trying to see. I'm like a cop, when you enter.
Yeah. Trying to set
Wanted
me
to
up,
see if you
man.
wanna, if you would tell something, you will spill the beans. Well, the beans already been spilled, man.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
But anyway, it was just
A
another thing in
remark.
between,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
remark. Yes,
But
nothing
that
special.
means
So let's.
if you go back to the first one, because you're telling me that 51%, uh-huh.
Of
And if you
lawyers.
go to the other one, if you go to the previous, so do
They
I
would
have to
probably
conclude
be.
that do I have to do I have to conclude that the legal industry tops everything, or are they measuring different, using different metrics?
Well, they polled 482 people simply hired. So I
Okay.
think it's a smaller sample size. Probably it's not the same sample size. I
No,
think they polled
it's not
here
this.
only.
Only
It's kind
lawyers.
of a
Yeah,
yeah,
this is more.
probably that's
Yeah, this. Yeah. Okay.
so. Then it seems a bit different.
Mm.
Anyway, other stats. So who is it safe to hook up with? If you want to start your relationship, is it something you would think as a subordinate or as a supervisor? Is it okay? So the stats are saying the following: 23% of subordinates have dated on the job, and about 16 to 23% of the superiors, so the bosses and managers, have admitted to dating on the job. In these cases, men were typically the superior
Mm.
and women were the subordinates. So it basically falls into also the, let's say, the typical way of things, women choosing a guy that's higher up. So as
And
a
the guy
manager,
choosing a woman that's lower down.
well, in this case, it is someone is subordinate, right? You're
The subordinate.
it's a
Yeah.
subordinate.
It's
So
a more. Yeah.
wanna say
It
she's
goes
low
both.
down, but
No, you know what I mean. Come on. If you say
she's down low on all four. Anyway, so the subordinates and managers, should they hook up? Or I think it's obvious that in this case, a lot of times it's you will create a conflict of interest, and it could become a culture killer in a sense, and that would decrease your productivity as a team, the team in general, and also this can lead to lawsuits and all that stuff. And as a subordinate, there is also disadvantages. I mean, you it's a lose-lose situation. If you receive rewards, recognition, you might be the best one in the team, but people look at you very different because
Yeah,
they think you don't deserve it. You
definitely.
start getting resentment.
Yeah.
You might be the best, but still, people will not look at you as the worker, but as the one, the another one, not the one, the
Mhm.
other one of the
Yeah.
manager in that case.
Yeah.
And breakups always, I think, lead to, let's say, um, yeah, for the subordinate, it's almost impossible to stay around if you break up because it's great, very awkward. I don't know if you can chime in on that. No, well, in general, as a
Yeah.
lawyer or as a
Yeah.
as a business
Yeah.
owner.
Yeah, it's what you said. Like when people hook up in in an organization, whether it's a subordinate manager relationship, sometimes you have like two people on the same level, different departments doing it. So sometimes, sometimes, so I don't know if a subordinate is, for example, someone with a lower rank in an organization but working in a different sector, a different department. I think it is. So, but I think there comes a, it might be beneficial, like everything, but it has its risks. Beneficial in the sense that, let's say you are the manager and your subordinate is, you have a relationship with your subordinate. She might be inclined to, for example, work hours, do things, work, uh, go the extra mile without asking pay or whatever, or that you will focus mainly on your task. I'm trying to hold it in, man. I'm just trying to hold it. But the but when it goes south, it's oftentimes the subordinate. The subordinate is more, yeah, I'm gonna use the word, is people see it in an organization as disposable. Now, if they wanted to get rid of the superior, this would be a perfect time to get rid of the superior. The challenge of the challenge of HR is, who are you gonna, if you're gonna get rid of someone, who are you gonna get rid of? If it's a big company, you can always um, move someone to a different place. Now, who's gonna move where? That's another question. But both people can remain employed, but work in different, different departments, not having to deal with each other. However, if it's a smaller company, oftentimes it's the subordinate that either leaves voluntarily because the situation has become so toxic that she doesn't want to work there anymore, or because she gets pushed away. And if the relationship, it's easy if the relationship was, or let's not say relationship, but if let's call it a misconduct. If there was a misconduct of sorts, without the consent of one party, for example, you held someone's hand too long, you held someone's hand, things like that, or you touch someone inappropriately, then for sure it's easier to decide who needs to go. At the same time, it's more difficult to prove that something happened if there weren't cameras or if there weren't cameras, or what do you say, or witnesses around. But oftentimes it's very difficult to prove it. So you find that the woman will leave, or the subordinate will leave. I've experienced situation as well where the man was the subordinate and he didn't leave. He was just bragging. So I think it's different for it's I think I think it's different for different people as well. But if you have emotional connection, then it's probably the female, or if it's probably the female subordinate that will leave faster than the male subordinate or any superior. The superiors will not leave as easily if the relationship was consensual.
So that's the dynamics between superior supervisor, superior versus subordinates. What about subordinates? Is it, I would say, personally, or not personally, I'm not going to put my personal in this, as in general, would you say that it's safer to be subordinate and subordinate or on the same level in a sense. And of course, not taking into account you one of the two doing weird stuff after the one breaks up, because that's always leads to
Yeah.
awkwardness in the would be level to level be the best way to go. Then there is no conflict of interest or whatever lose-lose situation.
I mean, it depends, I guess, for everyone. Uh, Me personally, I don't want the idea that I don't like the idea personally of working in a place where my significant other is an employee and all the employees know each other. So our information is continuously passed. If something's wrong, she tells a colleague, then the whole organization knows. Or something happens with me, the whole organization knows. Or, but some people don't care. So that's why I say it depends. But if you're gonna do it, I think personally, okay, it depends on what you're looking for, I would say. Because if you are a subordinate and you genuinely like a superior and your superior genuinely likes you, would it be a bad idea to not do it? I don't know. There are a lot of cases where it happens. There are a lot of examples, right? The question is whether or not you should make it clear, to publicize it, or not publicize it, but make it known, to disclose it to HR, so people know what's going on.
But you could disclose it to HR and not disclose it to your co-workers, but I mean the chemistry will be obvious.
The
A lot of
chemistry will
times.
be obvious, but subordinate to subordinate might be better, but it's not as clear to say. If you're, for example, working on the
Messy.
same, if you're working on the same department, in the same department, you're subordinates to one another. But I would argue that if something goes wrong, you're gonna sit there with that person the whole day, and with other people asking you both what's going on. So it doesn't seem. And again, what are you looking for? If it's an affair, I mean, you're both trying to satisfy a need, then yeah, technically speaking, why wouldn't you do it, right? But fact of the matter is, emotions
That was an
almost always
easy
play a
one.
role. Almost always plays a role. Almost always play a role.
Why wouldn't
And
you do it? There is an easy one, but I'm not gonna answer that.
almost always. And with emotions playing a role, doesn't matter, I believe, what relationship it is. When emotions play a role, things get complicated. So I would say, don't do it at work.
Don't do it. Don't
That's
do
what I
it.
would say. Don't do it at work.
That person ain't worth it.
It's not worth it.
Because in general, if you look also at the whole spectrum, the average of a workplace affair, stats again, I'm a stat guy, young Ernie Johnson. Most affairs last between 1 month and a year. On average, most. So I'm talking about in time, on average, it's about only 6 months to, well, not the average. So most of them, are between 1 month and a year. And about 1/3 of the affairs survive longer than 24 months. So
Short timeline.
it's a very short timeline. Very short timeline. And of course, the duration always depends on how the affair dissolves. So if someone spills the beans to your significant other, that's the end.
Yeah.
Or at least you would think it's the end.
You would think it's the end. Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at the whole spectrum of how how affairs end, um, well, not well, let's not start with end. Let's go from the couples. 22% of them. It can end different ways. I'm not go that way. This route. It can end different ways. It can end in divorce and remarriage. So now your fling is now your main thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the right route to do it, but
It's a route.
it's a route. Two cheaters make two, two wrongs can make a right. You never know.
But they can make a baby.
They can make a baby, and before you know, anyway, the second option is divorce and relationship loss. So lose situation, and of course, in the case of, for example, Ned and Ariel, this is the one recommitted to the relationship that was betrayed. Those are the ones. And the first option, divorce and remarriage, about 22%. So we're not talking about the ones that cheated. I'm talking about in general. About 22% of married couples met at work. Not clear how much of them came from cheating, but that's not a lot.
That's a
Is it worth
fifth.
it?
It's a fifth.
Yeah, just a bit more, but
Yeah.
anyway, about 2%. Well, no, wait a second. I'm counting wrong. I'm counting wrong. 4% of the people who lost 4% of people have lost their jobs due to a workplace relationship. Not a lot, not a lot, but that's an option as well. But when a relationship goes south, so relationship loss, divorce, both, about 21% of the people have quit their jobs due to the awkwardness. I
Mm.
mean, I can imagine. I can imagine. All in all, I think as an employer, you wouldn't be happy about any of these situations because
Mm.
maybe one of your biggest talents might leave the company because of the awkwardness,
Yeah.
which results to about 84% of employers not being happy at all
Yeah. As
about
a,
people doing what they do on the work field.
what it do, baby. Yeah, but I think as an employer, you want your if you're an employer, you want to use your resources as effectively as possible. All your resources, right? So you have the human resources, the human capital, your employees. You have, of course, the machines, yeah, technology, innovation. You have money, liquid money that you might have to use, money on your bank account, for example. And of course, you have maybe land, property, buildings, whatever. So you're trying as an employer to optimize the results. And as you're trying to do that, you realize, and this is speaking from experience, that your physical structure, infrastructure, your building, your office, it's more or less stable. You know what you're getting every day when you get there. Your technology, your technology, you know it's pretty much stable. You know more or less what you're getting there. You also know what you're not getting there. Even for example, if you have low internet connections, you know either you have connections or you don't have connection. So there are a couple of options. You have connections, you don't have connection, or it's weak. Money, you know what you have. It's what you left. What was there yesterday, it's probably you have that. So what was there at the end of yesterday's business day is probably what you have today's business day. But KR, people, I would argue, is a very crucial source of your business success. You can't grow alone. You need people. But do you think, of all the four, which ones would you say, the four factors I mentioned, which one is the most volatile one? When you get there, you don't know what you're gonna get. Is it land?
Can you repeat the four again, for so everyone can?
So is it, and guys in the chat, I want you guys to give us your answers too. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Of the four factors I'm going to mention now, the four elements that the employer, business owners, the manager is trying to manage, which one do you guys think is the most volatile one? Which one do you guys think varies drastically from day to day? If you believe it's land, so the options are land, or your, let's say your physical infrastructure is one, technology is second, money, finance, your money is third, and people is the fourth one. Which one do you guys think is the most volatile one? Which one can drastically vary from day to day? Is it land? Is it technology? What do you guys think? What do you think, KairR?
If I would guess, most volatile one. People are the most volatile. Don't buzz me wrong.
You're right.
Hey! Oh,
You're
man.
right. It's people, man.
Would have been crazy if I'm wrong on my own show, on our show.
But definitely people, man. Because as human beings, each and every single one of us, we have different things going on. So it's complicated enough. Now you're telling me, as I'm the employer, and it doesn't matter if it's someone with a lot of experience or little experience, but you're the employer. and you get there, and it's complicated enough because you remember yesterday, one colleague said something to the other colleague didn't like it. So there was a problem that you're trying to solve. You need to, you're simultaneously thinking about something, a work that you need to control because a person did it and you don't trust the person because that person always makes unnecessary mistakes. So there are a lot of things going on. Now you're telling someone like that there's an office affair as well. Come on. As an employer, okay, I'll give you this, and then we can continue. The only way that a business owner or a manager will approve or will be happy that there's an office relationship.
Tell me when. I'm curious about this one.
The only reason, the only moment is when he's the one with the Yo,
Oh,
man,
man.
that's the
I knew it. I
only
knew
way,
it.
man.
I
That's the
knew it. I
only
knew it.
situation, man. You got it right. You got it right. Letitia Wall has it right. People, man. That's the only reason. That's the only moment where the employer slash manager or whatever will be more than happy. But then he might be
Sabotaging.
sabotaging his own thing.
Hey. Talking about affecting situations. Who's more affected, man or woman? I don't know. Stats are showing that 29% of men and 43% of women said they wouldn't have a office affair ever again.
Power to them.
So
More
that
power
tells
to
you the
them.
blowback.
Mm-hmm.
You live and you learn. You live and you learn.
Did you say 29%? 29 to 40
29% of men
of
and
men?
43 women. So
So men, so more men are willing to risk it again.
they didn't risk it. They didn't risk enough the first time.
Because you're telling me 43% of women, that's almost like 50% of women are like, no, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna do this
half.
again.
I'm not gonna do this again. And the other half is thinking, I
Unlike
can grow more in my career. You know,
maybe. Or maybe, I mean, you don't know, but you're telling me that 80%, no, I think 70%. So 7 out of 10 guys will say, let's do it again. Let's see. Maybe we can roll the dice.
let's run it back. Let's, like you said, let's run it back.
Run it back.
Who
Let's see
said
if
run it back? Who said it? Let's run it back in
no,
NBA a couple of years ago, and then they got. Oh, it was Chris Paul, right? Or was
I don't
it
recall. I don't
the
recall.
Kyrie Irving? Someone said run it back, and then they got run back, and then they lost.
I don't recall. Yeah.
What the hell? But it can be. I mean, it depends on the situation. You just told the story about the guy who's bragging about it. I think he's in that 70%, right? He's like, run it
He's
back,
definitely in that 70%.
run it back. About 46% of people at the workplace knew about an affair taking place. So people see stuff, people notice the chemistry, the interactions, and sometimes people tell them themselves.
You don't say.
Self snitching is a. What's the name of the lawyer again? Bruce Rivers is a criminal lawyer. Stop self snitching, people.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bruce Rivers. About 16% of the people involved in romantic relationship with a co-worker told others about their relationship. Self-snitching is a threat to your own. Bruce was right. 16%. 40% of employees complain about favoritism among co-workers in romantic relationships. So people, people don't like it in general, even though 29%, was it 29 what I said in the beginning? 29% think it's fair game, 23% think it's fair game. About 40% don't like the favoritism coming out of relationships. So if you if you have a relationship with a coworker, it's better not to have it within your own team,
Yeah.
because
I
then in that
yeah.
case you cannot. Not saying you should,
Yeah.
but but you wanted to say something?
Yeah, man. I think that it depends who's talking, right? Because if it's the one that wants to partake in the office relationship, if you're the one, then you don't see why not. Why you don't see a reason why you shouldn't. But if you're the one that is not gonna partake in it, then you might complain more about favoritism and all those things. Because I I don't know if you have percentage of that, but how many people when they start think I'm gonna do this for the career. I think that there are people like that, but I don't think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people like. I think the majority of people do not think I'm gonna do this for the career. I might be wrong. Hey, I might be very naive in this, but I'm saying I don't think a majority of people do it. I think they just feel the chemistry. They think it's love, but in actuality, they fall in lust. And as you know, bro, they get lost, lost,
Lost in
lost in
translations.
translations. They get lost in translations, and
Before you know it,
then you wanna say, yeah, it's this or it's that. But
you're an office legend, and not the wrong, they're not the right kind.
and
But who is it?
you
Huh?
have to be aware that you don't become an office myth. People talk about you, but they've never seen you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Don't become the Udoka of your company.
yeah, yeah.
So when asking who is going to affect me, I think it affects men and women differently. Um, if you look at the whole situation, of course, it depends on the situation. Every situation is different. Is it consensual, non-consensual? Because that's gonna throw everything into um, a corner which you don't want to be in. But let's say talking about if it's consensual, um, there will be gossiping. You might be, both of you might lose your relationship, which you had already before. One or both of you will leave your job. That's almost certain at a certain point. It will become awkward. So um, it's um, it's very 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 the situation you would have to really look at in a sense to see how you're going to tackle that. I mean gossiping, resentment, ugly breakups, all things that can lead lawsuits, harassment lawsuits, some things you don't want to
Yeah.
have on your list of things you've been through in
Experience.
life,
Yeah.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah, and
those are, yeah, continue.
I think as well. I think that when you are the one with the superior position, one might think easier that you're one might think that you're um, they will think that you're the one basically, how do you say that, that you're the one, if that's abusing your power. And perhaps it's not like that, because if it's consensual, it's consensual. But they're always, society always poses a moral question. Should you have done it? Maybe you feel some kind of way about that person. Maybe the feeling was legit. Maybe you really did like your subordinate. But should you have done it? Because the subordinate is oftentimes looked at as either the victim or the one trying to get ahead, climb the corporate ladder faster. People don't always. Oh yeah, there's another story. There's a third. There are more. People can also say, you went with that guy or you went with that girl, because he or she was feeling an itch. When everyone, KairR, if you were imagine this, if you're in an office relationship with the talker, people will know in a couple of days' time how many moles you have on your body, how many scars you have. People will know things that
Your performance. Where's the alarm? Where's the alarm?
Your performance. People will know your performance. Definitely. Yeah.
You look crazy out here.
Crazy, yeah. And then imagine if you're the superior and your performance. People, I'm just saying, people are not gonna take you seriously anymore.
You can get it up.
Look at him, that small penis man trying to tell me. I mean, come on. That's no. I don't. No. I don't think. I think you're taking a big risk trying to make something like that happen.
Yeah. Do agree with that. Don't want to end up being, like you said, the one who's being talked about.
No.
In a crazy way.
In a crazy way, yeah.
In a crazy way. So in general, I think we can go to the questions now. We looked at every aspect. I mean, we can dive also into the employer part. Is it preventable? Can you prevent it? I don't think it's preventable. People will go, like you said, they will itch to scratch the itch. Someone has to scratch it. And like we said before, you're together almost 40, 60, 80 hours a week together. Gotta ask yourself, can you stop that? You cannot stop it. Only thing you can do is basically manage it the best way you can. Manage it as a manager, as an employer, as a director. Encourage people to go to, in my opinion, encourage people to go to HR, discuss these relationships, so then you're aware of them and then you can mitigate. Make sure everything is set in place correctly in order to prevent weird situations happening on your workflow.
Yeah, fully agree. But
Again,
you have the right to privacy as an employee as well.
Yeah, that
So
is
it's always there's always a friction. There's always
there's
a
always
friction.
friction. You hope. The only thing, like I said, you can encourage. I'm not saying you should put any tool to someone's head to get them to talk to HR, but you should encourage
You
openness.
should
But
encourage.
at
Yeah,
the end of the day, like you said, they have their right to privacy.
yeah.
Um, as long as they're not um,
Harming the
doing
company.
what they do on the work floor, because that's a really awkward situation when it's said and done and it gets recorded or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's continue to the question of the day. So
What are the
looking at
questions?
everything, the question of the day is that other person, is it worth it? Is it worth it to start a relationship at your workplace with all the consequences, the talks, the chances of you not even making it past 1 year
Yeah. Together in the relationship.
together, putting your wife, your kids on the line,
And if even if you're single, your career on the line.
your career, your reputation. Do you want to know as the Dragon Slayer? You don't want to be known as the Dragon Slayer, man. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. But that's not going to help your career. So the question is it worth it at all? I think if I have to ask, guys, please let us know in the chat. Because I
Press
think if I
press worth it. Press worth it if you believe that is worth it. Or should we say press one in the chat?
if it's
If you
worth it,
believe if
and
it's worth it, press one.
if it's not worth it,
If you believe that it's not worth it, press two.
I see Ime Udoka in the chat.
Yeah.
You know what this is? 3 million is gonna lose next year.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy though. It's crazy. If you lose if you think about it, the guy put his career, his reputation on the line for some fun,
For some fun.
some de-stressing, or whatever you want to call it. And he lost 3 million.
But we don't know if he lost it yet, right?
Well, for this year he did.
Yeah.
He's not RJ, he's not coming back. Let's be honest. I hope he comes back. He might be a good coach, but what are the chances? What are the chances? Maybe Celtics might have a turnaround, but if you suspend someone this early in the process,
Maybe it's a first step.
maybe it's the first step to recovery. I don't know. Maybe
But
he needs to
KR,
go to
what about love, KR?
love.
KR, what about
All you
love?
need is love. You know,
What
who sang
about
that song? You
No,
know how
who
they
did?
sing that song? All
No,
you need is. It wasn't John Lennon. Wasn't
maybe,
it John Lennon? I
maybe,
think it was John Lennon who sung that song. Let me see. Let me search it up real quick.
maybe.
All you need is love.
Is it worth it?
It was the Beatles who sung that song. I think it's Beatles, John Lennon. Do you know where all those band members are?
Where?
Doing a dirt nap.
No.
Love in this case, love. Oh man, I, if it,
What? You don't believe in love, KR?
I do believe in love. I do believe. Well,
That's sad, man.
I don't know if I believe. Why you put it on me, man? Why you put this on me, man? Why you put this on me? Believe love, but not in this situation.
Let's say, okay, I'll paint a scenario for you.
Yeah, paint the scenario. Like you
Let's
paint
say,
with Black Lives Matters.
yeah,
Nice
okay,
check Black Lives Matter. He painted the scenario back then. I was making cash, so
yeah,
go.
guys, go check it out.
I was making
So,
cash. Like the scenario. Am I
okay,
making 3 million a year? Let's start there.
okay. So this is the scenario.
I'm sitting in my.
You you've gone through you've gone through some very difficult times in your life, from very hard times, you know, and from your hardship, you basically said, okay, I'm done. I'm done with love. You started working hard on yourself. Every day, you wake up early. Every day you work. Every day you work out. You do what you need to become a better version of yourself. You start reading. You start journaling. You start meditating. You feel that you're becoming a better person. It shows in your life. You become more ambitious. You start working more on your goals. You go to work and you perform well. You perform very well. And as you're performing, you're getting ahead, getting ahead, getting more and more experience, more and more legitimacy, more and more money. Of course, KR, because with your experience comes the dinero. You need the money.
That's
Now
what I
you say,
hear. That's what I want to hear.
now you say, all you are missing now is someone to share it with. But you don't have anyone because since what happened, you've gone through some things, and in your past, and you say you're done with love. You're just gonna focus on yourself. Then one day you get to work, and your colleague will say, "Hey, KR, what's up, man? Yeah. Did you see the new transfer? Yeah, she transferred from another department." And you say, "Yeah, oh, she's beautiful, man. She's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Go. You didn't get a chance to introduce yourself. Go introduce yourself now." The
Those
bottom
no
of the
no.
bottle.
Bottom of the bottle.
You get there. You walk. You're going to her office space or cubicle or whatever, and you get there. And when you get there, you've heard so many things about this person, and you don't know what to expect now. So actually, Now you're a bit nervous. You're standing there, moving step by step, getting closer to open the door
Trying to reach for
to
the door.
see who the new colleague is. And your heart is beating. Your heart is beating, KairR.
I don't know. My heart doesn't sound like that, but okay.
You get there
Ah,
and you see a very beautiful person sitting there, a very beautiful colleague. And you introduce yourself, but she's not only beautiful, when she starts talking, you feel the warmth and the genuinity of a person, a happy person, a jolly person that makes you feel happy from the inside. But you're still skeptic. Your colleagues, you don't want to do anything to jeopardize your career, your job. But as the days go by, you meet each other, maybe while getting coffee, and you strike a short conversation. Where are you from? Oh, you like that type of music? Yeah, I like it too. And you start talking about music. And KairR, we both know how passionate you are about music.
you're setting me up for failure, man. But continue.
Yo,
Continue.
hey, tranquilo, Kurt. Tranquilo, KairR.
Setting me up for
So
failure.
you get
I'm already.
there. Then you move. You go back to work. Maybe you go look something up, or maybe she messages you because she went and looked up something, an artist, and she's messaging you, of course, after work. Now you're talking to each other at night at 7 or 8 when she finally had the time to check out a new album that you recommended, KairR. You did. And then you start talking about it, and you realize how many things you guys have in common. You gradually start realizing that this person isn't that bad after all. You start seeing her as a friend, but then you want something more than friendship. And from the talks you have with her, you realize that she wants it too. And you try your best to focus on work, but you find yourself thinking more and more about her. Then one day, at an office Christmas party,
Oh my God. Continue. This is such a great story you're telling right now.
at an office Christmas party, KairR, you both had a little bit to drink, not too much, because none of you are drinkers. You're not drunk, both drunk there. You're just tipsy and
I
happy.
drink too much. You know what happens when I drink too much.
And you start dancing because, of course, at a Christmas party, you dance. But then they play Ed Sheeran. Do you want to say something?
Does she has a significant other?
She does not.
Okay. Continue.
That's
Ed
a good.
Sheeran is playing.
That's like Ed Sheeran is playing.
I'm gonna sit down.
She grabs you by the hand and say, KairR, let's dance. You're not go. KairR, come on. You're not gonna tell a lady no. You're a
That
gentleman.
is true. That is true. That is
You're a
true.
gentleman.
That is true.
So
Damn,
as a
you got me.
gentleman,
You got me already in the corner. I'm like Ali right now.
so as a
Catching
gentleman,
punches all.
She confesses. She says, you know, KR, I like you. And you say, you know, so no, let's not use Karen.
You're really trying to set me up for failure right now. Oh, man,
You know,
let's go, man. What
you
the
know,
heck?
Karen. You know, Karen.
Damn.
I
We
really,
couldn't even
really.
think of a better name.
Let's call her Becky. Becky with the good hair.
Jesus Christ, another setup. Guys, he's trying to set me up all kinds of way.
So you say, okay. You confess, you know what? I like you too, but this can't happen. And she says, why not? We're meant to be together. We both have the same interests. We love the same type of music. We love going to concerts. We love doing the same things. We're basically perfect for each other. And you say no, not only because it's an office relationship, but also, but also,
Because she's Becky.
you call her whatever you want. I don't know. Is it
Okay, continue. Continue.
Cassandra? I don't know what you want to call. But you will say, you will say, no. But listen, it's not only because it's a relationship. Because I don't like relationships, but an office relationship, it can get too messy. And she looks at you deep into your eyes, and you look at her, and you say, you see that you haven't felt like this in a long while, KR. You feel happy, fulfilled, complete from the inside. Tell me, honest to God, KR, are you 100% certain? Can you say with 100% certainty that you will say no? What do you guys think in the chat? Do you guys think KR will say no?
You
What do
set
you
me
think,
up for
KR?
failure right here,
What
man.
do you think, KR?
KR, or are you asking the people?
I'm asking
I
the
think
people.
you're asking the people.
I'm asking you too. I'm not telling
What
you
what
to
am I going
answer.
to say?
What is KR going to say?
He answered an important question earlier.
You
That
heard the
question is,
scenario.
the scenario was kind of crazy.
What will KR say?
It would be great now to play "All You Need Is Love," but otherwise we would get a strike.
We're gonna get a strike. We're on the road to monetization.
You know, we on the road to monetization, we would be dead.
Yeah.
We'll be
will
paying
KR say?
Beatles royalties till the end of our lives.
What will KR say? KR, give us your answer.
I mean,
Can you say with 100%
you
certainty?
set me already up for failure, man. You set me up.
Can you
set me
say
up.
with can you say with
Of course I can.
100%?
Come on, man. Of
And
course
that's
I
why
can.
men get screwed and women get screwed on the workplace because they can't say no.
Well, you set it up. You set it up. You set it up that I cannot say no. Otherwise, I'll seem heartless. And well, you set me up.
So I'm just
I lose
saying
on
that.
both sides. I lose on both sides. If I say yes, then I get screwed at the job. If I say no, I'm heartless. So I'd rather be a hard having guy.
Yeah. So and that's the reason, guys. That's the
the
reason
reason.
why it's very simple, very easy to stand from the outside looking in and say no chance. But
By the way, ladies, I'm not that easy. The way you fucking tell me Oh, I gotta.
It's the blueprint. It's the
It's
blueprint to
not the
finessing.
blueprint. It's not the blueprint.
It's
Please
the
don't.
blueprint to finessing.
Don't
Yeah.
tell me. Don't tell me you like an album and think you can get me in bed or something like that. That's not
Before you
how things
know
work.
it, you're involved in a scandal, and you go and open the morning newspaper, or you buy the morning newspaper, and you look at the cover, and what do you see? Your picture. Your picture on the front page. Your
KR,
picture.
KR, KR got caught red-handed
Now people are looking into
with
your pockets. People,
with his elbow in the cookie jar,
it is
up to his
elbow
elbow
in
in
the
the
cookie
cookie
jar.
jar.
No.
Nah, but all jokes aside, uh, it, 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 it it's a very tough situation, and I think in general, when you talk about situations, definitely if you have a significant other, you have to be very very careful how you move because it it will influence the whole trajectory of both your relationship and not only your relationship. If the other person has a significant other, their relationship as well. I mean, you're both consent, but I mean, in the spur of love, as you say.
Yeah. Well, I know people that uh, one of the people involved quit, and 1 year later was quitted. It was the woman in this case that quitted and said she doesn't want anything to do with she doesn't want anything to do with the job anymore, anything to do with the employer anymore, anything to do with the organization anymore, because it's tainted. And definitely, she didn't want anything to do with the person anymore. And about a year later, she was pregnant with this baby. So maybe love.
Clinical in the womb.
So maybe love does win, man. That's all. Maybe love does win.
All you need is love.
Maybe
Do, do,
love
do, do,
does
do. Strike.
win. Yeah, man.
Hey guys, we want to thank you for your
Patience and following
patience.
and your feedback as well. Definitely your feedback, man. Definitely we've had some interaction in this show. Of course, we're gonna finish the show as always with KR's thought of the day. Before we get to that, because I'm always trying to push that back as far as possible. That way, if he says something wrong or something that might get us canceled, it will be easier to find and cut it out. Uh, Also, if they pull us down, if they pull the video down, then at least you could have enjoyed a great majority. Because if KR needs to go at the beginning, there's no guarantee of the remainder of the show. KR,
Yes, yes, yes.
can
My thought of
you
the day.
please can you give us your thought of the day before we wrap it up today?
Yes, of course I can. So my thought of the day was inspired by a discussion, well, back and forth I saw online. People talking about snitching. Before I continue, I didn't know if I wanted to go this route or the other route of cuffing season. Maybe next week.
Okay,
Stay tuned about that.
stay tuned.
Anyway, snitching is a very interesting topic these days with known rappers telling it all in the court. I mean, They used to tell always, but I mean, but I'm getting a bit tired of people saying they would never ever snitch. Sounds great if you're not on trial doing about to do 30 years. It's
Yeah.
easy to say. I mean, people watch The Godfather and fall in love with the Omerta rule. They romanticize everything, but they forget that the mafia gave birth to the greatest snitches alive, the biggest ones.
Biggest ones.
Sammy
Yeah.
the Bull Gravano,
Yeah.
Jamie the Weasel Fracciano, Joe Cargo Lavacci, and the great Lucky Luciano. He wasn't really a snitch, he was more of an informant, but I'm gonna put him in there because he's cooperating, and you guys are saying you're not cooperating with anyone.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let me tell you this, guys. A lot of you talk about how you would never snitch. But in order to snitch, you have to have something valuable to tell the police for them to let you snitch. You guys don't look like you know anything. So what are you talking about? You will never snitch. I look at your profiles. I looked at those people's profile. Was like, dude, you guys will never snitch because you don't have any information. Hey, man. That's the best way to put it. Police will lock you guys up. I'm sorry. You will snitch on, as MF Doom once said. You probably snitch on the guy doing your anyway. I forgot the lyrics. Such as I'm ashamed right now because I forgot MF Doom lyrics.
MF Doom.
But
Of all people, you
MF
forgot
Doom, yeah.
MF Doom.
MF
Yeah.
of Doom. But anyway, it's I'm still shocked about the story you told earlier, so I'm probably lost my way. So anyway, guys,
That's what love
please
does to
stop
people.
talking about how again.
That's what love does to people, man.
That's what love do. You lose your mind.
Yeah.
You don't care about yourself.
You
Anyway,
forget ways.
guys, stop talking about you would never snitch. You're not in the situation. You don't know what the situation is. You don't have anything to tell the police. Not that I condone snitching, but please don't talk craziness. That's all. That's all.
On that note, guys, we thank you once more for your support. Thank you to all our followers. Thank you for all the likes. And before KR pulls us out, I would just like to remind you that next show, stay tuned for next show. We have something hot cooking for you guys next Saturday, same time. And of course, enjoy our the production, guys. You can't imagine how important your support is because the production of this show, and we call it a show because we really want to we want to give you the show experience. It takes up a lot of time, but we do it with it is with a lot of pleasure. It's a pleasure that we can do it, and to see you guys involved in the chats, to receive feedbacks from you guys. To us, it means a lot. So we really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Remember to uh, like the social media pages, Facebook and YouTube. It's Double Touch Show on both platforms to stay up to date with developments. Again, sometimes we post things there that is not that yet you can't post on YouTube because, as you know, YouTube is more of a video streaming service, service platform. But remember to share the content as well with family and friends. Remember to subscribe. And on that note, guys,
Thank you.
thank you, and until next time, peace.
Peace.